It's official. Today, I took the oath as the newest member of the California State Legislature, as Governor Gavin Newsom convened a special session of our body to Trump-proof California. I'll tell you what went on during the first day of the legislature. And of course, we turned the tables on Newsom by proposing to Newsom-Proof California. Coming up, we'll go through what happened today in Sacramento. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a newly installed member of the California State Legislature. Oh, don't throw things at the TV. Please do not. Please do not hold that against me. Look, I had to go inside the belly of the beast because these people are, well, they're liars, cheats, and thieves. You know, we've described the elected officials up there as just absolutely out of touch, untethered from reality. And by going into that legislative body, as painful as it's going to be, as annoying as it's going to be, we are taking your voice into the belly of the beast. We're going to shine a light on what's going on in the process, make sure that you're informed and involved every step of the way, because this show will continue every day at 5 o'clock from Sacramento when we're in session, and of course from throughout the state of California as we are organizing the campaign to flip seats in 2026. That's right. We are already started. Even though we took the oath today, we're already starting our campaigns for 2026 for ballot measures, statewide offices, and of course, trying to end the Democrat super majority status in the state legislature. So what I want to go through today is kind of give you kind of a play-by-play of what happened. And as you know, today, Gavin Newsom convened the legislature into a special session. Moments after we were sworn in, we were told the governor has a proclamation, and they read it and they said, oh, now you have to do a special session to Trump-proof California, to protect California. So we'll get to that in a minute, what we did to turn the tables. So first, at noon today, we were convened as a body by the clerk of the legislature. And they read a roll call. It took a while. They went county by county. And then, of course, we got sworn in. And here's a little bit of the swearing in. And, of course, the Democrats, their first order of business after electing a speaker, they decided to impose a rules package on us that is decidedly one-sided. And here's what happened on day one. They proposed their rules, and their rules basically give no rights to the minority. This is the same supermajority, undemocratic regime that would cut off microphones in the last session. If they don't like what a Republican says, they would cut off their microphones. That will continue under the rules package. Might makes right. This is the same Democrat supermajority that kicked Republicans off of committees when they were too, vocal about their opposition to Democrats. And this is insane. This harkens back to the J6 committee because, the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, when she convened that committee, she didn't let the Republicans select who got to be on the committee. I get it. When you're in the minority, you don't get the same number of seats as the majority on each committee because that's just how math works. You know, if you have a majority, they're going to get more seats on each committee because they're the majority. I have no problem with that. That's math. That's, how our system works. Not challenging it. But I'll be damned if I allow the Democrats to then select who they get to face off with fewer seats. Because what they want to do is only select the mamsy-pamsies, the people who are going to shut up and sit down or go along to get along. And that's not their prerogative. That's not their right. The minority party, the minority leader, the minority caucus, the Republicans, well, if they're only given 3 seats on a committee and the Democrats get 9 or 10, which is usually how it goes, then we should be able to select which of the 3 members we want to put in there. And the Democrats should have no ability to say, no, we don't like that one. We're going to select someone else. But that's what they've been doing. And that is now, once again, enshrined in the rules. The Speaker gets to decide for the minority party who they get to select and send to voice opposition. Again, it's corrupt. It's undemocratic. For everything that the Democrats say that they're trying to defend democracy, no, you're tearing it apart. You are dividing us. You are not allowing an actual balanced presentation. And when you do that, when you cut off people's microphones, when you don't allow the minority party to select who gets to represent them and voice opposition, you're silencing the voices of millions of Californians who are represented by a Republican member. That's not the way our system of government should work. And unfortunately, that's what we're stuck with these rules. And that's what was adopted today. So then, after the rules package was read, they brought in a proclamation from Governor Gavin Newsom. I think he signed it with crayon. There was a wine stain, probably one of those $1,000 bottle of wine that he drinks at the French Laundry that lobbyists pay for. Anyway, so the proclamation came in and basically is convening a second session of the legislature that runs concurrent with the regular session. But this session is only about Trump-proofing California. We have to Trump-proof California. Exactly what has Trump done? He's not even president. He hasn't taken any action. Oh, but you know what? Whatever he does, he's breaking the law. We're going to sue him. That's what the Democrats were saying. We need this session so that we can sue Donald Trump, take him to court. We don't know what he's done, but by golly, he's broken the law already. Again, just insanity. So what I decided to do is turn the tables on Gavin Newsom. I proposed as one of my 10 first bills in the state legislature, and I'll talk about the other 9 because it's all part of something called the Contractor Reform California. I introduced all 10 of these bills on day one. We walked right over to the clerk's office and boom, we submitted these 10 bills. But one of the bills is called the Punish Unconstitutional Actions Act. And this is the bill that I've introduced to kind of turn the tables on Gavin Newsom as it relates to his Trump-proof special session of the legislature. Because he's saying that it's Trump that's going to be breaking the law and being unconstitutional, that we need to protect the civil rights of citizens in California. Well, of course, he's saying he wants to stop the deportations of people who are not even citizens. But anyway, but the Unconstitutional Actions Act, the Punish Unconstitutional Actions Act, basically says that California politicians have developed a bad habit of repeatedly imposing laws and orders that are blatantly unconstitutional. And it's always just to score political points while depriving California citizens of their rights in the meantime and forcing them to bear very expensive lawsuits to try to restore their rights. We've seen this repeatedly. Gavin Newsom has been overturned twice now on the Second Amendment, twice now on the First Amendment. And of course, he's facing a bunch of lawsuits on both the Fifth and the 14th Amendment. What has he done wrong? Well, obviously on the Second Amendment, he's constantly regulated our right to bear arms, and the Supreme Court has repeatedly shot him down. Yet he continues to sign bills into law that are violating the U.S. Constitution and the Supreme Court rulings that shot him down the first time. He just doesn't want to take no for an answer. And what he does is he tweaks a small portion of it and then just goes and deprives us of rights, and we have to sue again. And the Supreme Court's sitting there saying, seriously, we just already told you, knock it off. You broke the law. On the First Amendment, for example, he went after crisis pregnancy centers. He wanted to force religious organizations to promote abortion verbally. Again, that's against the First Amendment rules. He threatened Elon Musk with civil and criminal punishment if he shared funny memes on the internet. That was immediately overturned by a federal judge, literally within seconds of a court case being filed. Repeatedly, he's broken the rules. He's going after parents. He's being sued for that as well. And he's going to lose those suits. But he doesn't care because his view is might makes right, and at least I get away with it for a little while. So this law would say that any governor who signs and any legislator who votes for a law that is later found to be unconstitutional by the federal courts they will be receiving a 25% cut in their annual state compensation for each offense. By the way, the governor loses a salary for signing the law, whereas the legislators are getting a 25% cut in their annual compensation. Soon they're going to be working for free, just based on all the bad behavior. So we're proposing that as our way of Newsom-proofing California. I know. It's not like they're going to give us a hearing on this. It's not like we're going to, get it passed. Democrats will never pass this, because what it means is if they're, caught breaking the law, violating our constitutional rights, they're going to lose their salary, a portion of it. And they know they're going to do it. That's why they don't want to pass it. If they weren't going to do it, they'd be like, "Oh, sure, fine. We're not trying to break the law. We're smart constitutional scholars. We get it right. We have no fear of this." But they know that they wantonly, repeatedly, knowingly violate our constitutional rights, which is why they don't want to give this any sort of hearing. But this is what we turn the tables on Newsom with today, as he's trying to Trump-proof California. I'm saying we need a Newsom-proof California. The other bills that we introduced today. So I walked over to the clerk's office and we introduced the Cost of Living Reduction Act to slash the costs of oil, gas, and utilities by suspending the gas tax and all taxes and fees on energy in the state of California until such time as the average price of gas per gallon and the average kilowatt hour of electricity goes back to the national average. Because politicians shouldn't be price gouging and benefiting from it if you're paying higher prices than the rest of the country. They need to fix that before they get their take. Plus, I give you an immediate $2,500 cost of living relief rebate until such time as your electricity and gas prices go back down to the national average. Here's why I got this bill. Because you can talk about deregulation and cutting fees and the cost of living, but it's all talk. Unless politicians themselves are having to pay the price of the higher costs out of the state budget and not getting tax revenue, they won't do anything to fix it. You got to get skin in the game for them to do anything about this. And that's why the Cost of Living Reduction Act is necessary. Second, the Taxpayer Protection Act would require that we have a 2/3 vote on tax increases locally, and it prohibits politicians from imposing a number of new taxes, including a mileage tax, an exit tax, and a wealth tax. They also can't increase the car or gas taxes. Also requires honest ballot titles on all tax increases going forward. Third, Balanced Budget Accountability Act caps and slashes labor costs in the budget and requires a 2/3 vote so that Republicans can influence the budget and demand cost efficiencies. It also imposes competitive bidding requirements on all state government programs. Fourth, education savings accounts, vouchers. Give parents real choice by giving them the money. $13,000 annually in vouchers for every student, starting with middle class and low income families. Fifth, the Homeless Reduction Act would end California's corrupt and wasteful Housing First experiment and would go and return our policies for homelessness to the same policies that the other 49 states have. And they've cut homelessness by about 20% nationwide since 2010 with their approaches. How do they do it? Well, it's spelled out in my law. They enforce the rules for clean, sane, and sober living. And they enforce the law when it comes to cleaning up encampments near schools and in public right-of-way. Sixth, end the Reckless Release of Criminals Act. It would repeal various provisions of Prop 57, which allowed the early release of violent felons. It also says that if you have any SVPs, and I can't say that on YouTube or else we would be dinged on our algorithm, but these are predators and they want to place them next to schools and in residential communities. No, we would ban that. We would put them in trailers in the parking lot of state prisons where they can be watched and monitored. 7, the California Secure Borders Act repeals sanctuary state, ends taxpayer-funded handouts to illegals, and it also provides for the deployment of the state National Guard to the border and cross-deputization of local law enforcement to assist the Border Patrol and ICE in their duties. 8, the Voter ID and Election Integrity Act, very important, requires voter ID starting in 2026 for all elections, citizenship verification on voter registration, requires audits to make sure the lists for votes are properly maintained, and it imposes penalties on counties that fail to count the ballots within 10 days of the election. No more dragging it out for a month. Get it done. We already covered number 9. And number 10, cut the Politicians' Perks Act. It basically cuts the free gifts, the lobbying contracts and jobs that politicians get after they leave office. It eliminates the exemptions that the legislature has granted itself from all sorts of state laws. And it eliminates pensions, lavish government pensions for state politicians. Very big agenda. We introduced it on day 1. Here's some of the other things that I wanted to share with you about what happened today. I recorded it along the way.
I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter. Congratulations, members.
I'm here on the State Assembly floor, day 1 of our legislative session, so that I can introduce 10 bills as part of the contract to reform California. These 10 bills will give a voice to all Californians and give relief to Californians who are demanding change from their state government. I urge you to check out the full set of reforms at my website, DeMaioAssembly.org, DeMaioAssembly.org, and help us get these 10 bills passed. I'm outside the state capitol. We just finished our first session of the California State Legislature. And one of the things that was most appalling was the notion that the Democrats, who say that they're here to defend democracy against Donald Trump, they refuse to give us, the minority party, a voice. They've adopted a rules package that, by the way, they did not even provide us in time to read. So they just put it on our desk, 90 pages plus of rules. And we had to vote on this without any sort of reading of what was inside the bill. And the rules package allows them to strip minority members from their committee assignments if they don't like the arguments we're making. Allows them to deny us the ability to offer amendments to various pieces of legislation. Denies us the right to hear our bills on the floor or in committee. And guess what? For all legislators, they don't even have to show up and represent you. They don't actually have to vote yes or no on a bill. They can just simply walk out of the room. That doesn't allow for accountability. And that's why, again, we have the tyranny of the supermajority here. I voted against the rules package. And of course, I said at the very least, give us an hour to read the 90 pages plus of rules. The Democrats voted that down. This is their form of democracy. Doesn't work. Doesn't work even for third world nations. It should not be accepted here in the state of California. Well, that is day 1. Check us out every day at 5 o'clock, because I will be giving you a new update right here on what's happening. The story behind the story will tell you what's going on at the Capitol, behind closed doors, and what's going on in the streets as Reform California fights to take back our state from the far left insanity. Do me a favor. If you want to join me in this fight and be with me every day in the Capitol, please contribute online right now at reformcalifornia.org, and also make sure you're signed up at our website at reformcalifornia.org. At the bottom, your first name, your last name, email, phone, zip code, and we will keep you informed every step of the way. Plus, smash that button, subscribe, and click the notifications, and you'll get the episode every day at 5 o'clock that we post from the state capitol. Until next time, I am California State Representative Carl DeMaio and Chairman of Reform California. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.